Hey, Captain D-Track here, as well as...
Nocturne Flum.
Yeah, you're looking on the screen, you're saying, hey, this is Pokemon Violet version. I did my blind April Fool's Day play of that a bit ago, which was an interesting experience. I mentioned to you, Nocturne, how this is going. Edward gave me a copy of this for Christmas. I said, I've been on about this game since it came out, saying how broken this thing is, the technical problems that are in there, the fact they're still introducing bugs that are pretty bad. So I was like, wait, if I was given the copy of this game, because they said, you know what, we don't want you to miss out. We also know that you said flat out you're not buying this until they fix it, and even then you're going to be buying it secondhand, so they don't get any money out of them, and I'm holding to that. But they said, fine, this solves the problem. You get to play it, you don't have to pay for it, and we don't want you to feel left out. I guess because everybody's playing this, and because they like that stuff, and when we've done stuff with Generation 8, Sword and Shield, they said, hey, we're doing our gym leader stuff. So in that case, it was a good gesture, but I also said, okay, I don't want to just start playing this game after everything I said, because I mentioned this every show I've done until we played this. And I was saying, I don't want to be a hypocrite for that, so I said, you know what, I'm going to go blind in this, see what's going on. But after that play, it was a very revealing one for me, because I said initially at the start, like, this game does not deserve to be played through the whole way, but I also said, you know, I think what might be interesting to do for this game is maybe chronicle my entire play of this game on camera, weirdly enough. With the 1.0 version, as I mentioned, I have not patched this. Is still offline for Switch, so we can run 1.0 to see how the game was. So there's no online support for the game at all, because remember, they had to patch that in before it came out. Or, well, the day it came out, I should say. But I said, what are we going to do?
Yay Day 1 patches.
Or nay Day 1 patches to me, as we had also the case of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. That was worse, to a certain extent.
I mean, I was being sarcastic.
Okay, I just want to make sure of that, because, like, well, people were like, no, they're fine with that. I mean, fine, I'll say this. It's not as embarrassing as Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, where the Day 1 patch added in the opening cutscene. They could not put that in the game before they went goal with it. But either way, I said, fine, let's take a look at that. But the reason Nocturne is here, you're saying, what's that about? Okay, she's played this game. She's a big one on Pokemon. A lot of people I know are big on Pokemon. I am. And it's a big franchise for a reason. This game sold 21 million units at the time of this recording. Again, Easter Sunday, as far as how it is, the end of the Misadventure to Tron Bond play that her and I started last night at the time of us doing this.
You mean Legends too?
Oh, you're right. Fine. I'm looking at the Misadventure to Tron Bond she has over there on the bottom of the table. Fine, it's fine, because we played the demo that came out of it. Thank you for catching me. So, Mega Man Legends 2. We'll do that one eventually. But I said, you know, what I want to do, I think, I'm going to do off-screen records for parts of this game. Not super long, but enough to have different people. I'm basically going to rope people in who have been having fandom of this franchise, and also get an idea of what is their background been with this game, because you've played this game, Nocturne, right?
Yeah, I've beaten the story, well, in Scarlet. I'm slowly working through Violet.
Yeah, I was given Violet because from what I understand, there's elements of story that are significantly different in some ways between the two, more so than some of the other Pokemon generations going backwards. Edward was saying, I think Violet's the one that I want to give you specifically for that, which is why I have this. So that's fine, because I'm curious then what your experiences is with Pokemon, and then also with this Pokemon game, this Pokemon generation. And I felt that this might be a unique thing. I'm still outside the Pokemon Center, outside of, take a look at my map, hit the, fine, minus button is my Pokedex as far as what I picked up. My Miraidon, was it the name of it?
Miraidon,
Miraidon, thank you. I was like, I do remember this from like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I have 32 Pokemon in the Pokedex so far. Let's pick up my lab, which is on the Y button. Yeah, we're outside of, we're in these ruins because I did a couple things if you didn't see that play, and I will have a link to that when I edit this. I did one of the gym leader battles, and I also did one of the Pokemon, I guess, raids.
One of the Titans?
Titan battles, thank you. Yeah, so I was like, okay, I want to just give a little bit of a sense of that. So, for this, it's basically just going to be kind of going around, it's going to be kind of a light thing, just kind of going into elements of Pokemon, see what we see next, see if the game crashes, I guess, because, spoiler warning, it didn't crash when we played it last time, where a lot of technical things would pop up, texture drawing, slow down, especially when we got to one of the gyms. Oh my god. This Unflora thing, oh my god. The frame rate in that was, it's horrible.
Oh, just wait till you get to the northwestern corner of the map.
Right. And actually, Edwack was saying that to me because they patched this game, as I mentioned a couple times. One thing they said specifically was that, or he said, was that people said, hey, they should do a performance patch on this game. They actually did, because they cut down the number of Pokemon spawns. And he was actually on one hand saying that, okay, it makes the frame rate better, but he was also saying that for catching shiny Pokemon, it kind of makes it harder to do that. So he actually was saying, I would take a worse frame rate for the purpose of that. I don't know if that's something you've done with this game specifically, or what you're thinking.
I have done some shiny hunting, and reducing the number of Pokemon for the sake of a frame rate should be an option, not a permanent aspect of a patch.
Uh-huh. Alright, fine. She needs to buy potions. Right, because right, okay, I think I came by this way. Right, and also every time I run into a trainer battle, they're going to be named after someone famous based on name. I think that was Alicia, so that's Alicia Keys. What about you? We had Pokemon leftovers to hold recovering. And, like, when I played it 2 weeks ago, this is blind. I have not seen anything what's going on. I'm just seeing what's over here, so I can get some stuff or run into Pokemon. Like, good old Rookity here. Evolves into Corviknight from Generation 8, Sword and Shield, which is awesome. I got my Vivillon right here that I've been raising.
Yeah.
Going through. What I got, I guess right now, Gus is the best option unless I want to paralyze or terrestrialize. If I'm going to run the terrestrialize, and not feel free to go into anything you're seeing here, in any aspect of what you think of this game, things it does unique, or anything else.
Yeah. I would. Like, so far I haven't really noticed any real difference between 1.0 and whatever the current update is.
It's 1.2 at this point. Like I said, it also took me some time, and the other thing is also, the reason I went that long as far as the play of that for the first look of it was because when the game came out, it had memory leak problems. That is the reason why people were saying, from what I understood, it had issues with the frame rate or things going on or it's crashing. Ooh, a Stantler, I want to grab this. And that's always my idea of the KSC Pokemon. There's Stantler from Generation 2 Gold, Silver, Crystal, but he has Intimidate, so yeah. My attack's going down, but I'm running special, so I don't care. So we'll start paralyzing him from sleep. But yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing, I guess, just looking at these differences between that. That's also why I ran that long, because I said, maybe if I run it for almost 6 hours, something will happen. Although the other thing I don't know, when you played this, when it comes to Switch for storing games, do you store them on a micro SD card on the console, or do you store them in their internal memory of the system?
I mean, I mainly play physical, so...
No, but I mean, even when you do that, it still gives a selection of where it installs.
Yeah,
By default, if you have the micro SD, it goes there, but otherwise it goes to the internal.
Yeah, I mean, I only recently got a micro SD, so, so until very recently, everything just defaulted to the system.
Okay, which is what I actually did for this on purpose. I said, since it's going to do that, and I've heard that it runs better if you install it to the internal memory, I actually took my micro SD card that I updated recently. I took it out of the console when I started this game. And then it basically just went back. Okay, fine. Vivillion's gone, unfortunately, but that's fine. There's a Pokemon Center we can take care of. Alright, I have to get levels of Magikarp because I wanted to get this evolved to Gyarados. Fine, I'll pull him in just so I can at least get a little more, even though everybody's running standard share this time.
Yeah, because Gyarados is an absolute beast.
Yes, I mean, I was loving seeing, Gyarados that way, although, yeah, with the way Stantler runs, he tends to run physically strong, so, yeah, I don't think I want to have him out. I'm also getting close to stuff with Hoppet. Fine, we're in rain case with both Palmy out. And yeah, there's also the Litleo over there just looking, it's like, yeah, what are you guys doing? Like, I want in on that. Okay, I'll tell you what he is. He's on the side of the Stantler. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. He doesn't have a dog in this fight, I guess, specifically as far as us, or us saying, hey, you should do this, but, yeah, whatever. Other than that, just see something. Save attacks. Oh, that was the other thing. It's like, me running Mud Slap for the beginning of this game, which is a lifesaver for some reasons. But yeah, I mean, I guess also to that Nocturne as well. Goddamn.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, fine. As I said, I know Stantler is strong this way. I mean, fine. I want this thing badly, and there's a Pokemon Center close by, so I think what I'm going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a I think Hoppet will sort of survive. Let's see. I just been not getting lucky with him getting the paralyzed phase. Also the best I've got as far as... Okay, good. Thank you. I just have to complain about the fact he's not taking effect on paralysis, and then it happens.
So complain and then it works?
Pretty much. Remember, we've had that happen on the show multiple times, I think. In fact, I don't know, didn't we have something with Mega Man Legends 2 with that last night? Where it's like, hey, you said, oh, I wish this was going right, and then it goes right. So the idea of the game finally listening, perhaps, or it's like, fine, I'll show you whether it's a positive way or a not positive way. Oh, yeah, of course I'm getting insane attacked.
And now you're sleeping.
That's the other thing, yeah, I was put to sleep decently with the low accuracy sleep moves, which hypnosis like 60, 55, I think.
Something like that.
I know they changed the accuracy of that at some point, specifically. Yeah, but if nothing else, we're giving a good show to the Lilio. So, like, I guess he's saying, hey, I'm enjoying this feasibly. Or, you know what, fine, I probably should just toss the ball out now. We'll see what happens. Maybe he gets paralyzed again. Okay, perfect. Fine, alright, I can use a full analog camera movement as far as on the right analog stick. But now, like, wait, hold on, what's that? Oh, wait, that's me on my,
Yep, Miraidon.
On my Miraidon. Okay, so there you go. So we're gonna ball this thing. I'll use my big ball, why not? Come on. I've not actually missed a toss with Pokemon or Pokeball yet, and okay, fine, this continues, at least for now. So there's Stantler. It was worth letting everybody die a little bit to get that. Also,
well, Magikarp and Hoppip both got levels.
Oh yeah, thank God. It's like, yeah, I'm so close with Magikarp. I think Hoppip evolves at 18, doesn't it?
I know it evolves soon. Yep.
Yeah, it does already. And yeah,
you can still see the shadows from Miraidon.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay.
I haven't seen that before.
Okay. All right, fine. There's the Rookies. Like, okay, we have a captive audience for the evolution here. It's like the Rookie wants to see it. Those Makuhitas over there want to see something. So I was like, yeah, everybody wants to see my Hoppip evolve. Actually, I tend not. I mean, it's rare that I've run Hoppip in the other games. I think I built one for Generation 4 just because, and evolved it to Skiploom. So there you go. Alright, so yeah, we get Skiploom, which is gratifying, which means it dies very easily to ice. But I've not run into ice yet, thank God.
Yeah. As I recall, Skiploom, when Skiploom evolves into Jumpluff, it's by level up as well.
Yeah, I think so.
So, yay, no Leaf Stone.
Yeah, or Sunstone, because we were running the Sunflora stuff last time, and there's something on the ground. Okay, potion. Fine. Yep, we're close to the Pokemon Center, so... wait, no, it's the TM machine. Actually, you know what? Let's look at that, because I was running materials last time, so what could I have that I ran? And I guess also, Nocturne to you, when you played this, since this, after Pokemon Legends Arceus, this was the first main generation Pokemon game that went open world to this and gave you some choices on where you wanted to go. How did you tend to approach this? Where did you want to go first? Or did you just say, like, hey, if I see something, I want to do it? Just kind of go where the wind takes you, pretty much.
I kind of, I don't really remember how I approached the game in Scarlet. But I know that my first gym was the Electric Gym.
Okay. Yeah, so I went to the Grass Gym as far as when we did the first part of this. But, I mean, the idea that you can go to any of them in any order you want.
And for the record, I hate Iono.
What's that?
Like, she just grates on my nerves.
The character, the battle you have to do.
It's just how she is.
Okay, well, I'll maybe find that. I don't know about as far as this. I'm buying a thing of Thunderfang. Let's make one, because I didn't do one when we played. I unfortunately can't get Fire and Ice Fang yet. Let me look at my move stuff for my starter. As far as the starter, I did take, let's see. Fine, here's Crocodile, so I took what it evolved from specifically. But, yeah, I don't know what starter you take.
Wait, sorry?
The starter, what'd you take?
Oh, right, I started with Fuecoco as well.
Oh, you did? Okay, so I guess that's a popular one as far as how it is.
Well, I was just kind of looking at what they could do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like, you know what? Fire Ghost, I'll go with that.
Okay. Alright, he's got me out of jams. I run Mud Slap as far as early on, which has helped a lot. He has special base, so honestly, Thunderfang might not necessarily be the best thing now. Oh, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I always want to have access to these, because I love those Fang moves.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I don't particularly like any of the starters this generation.
Wasn't that your attitude with Generation 8 as well?
Yeah, I mean, Sprigatito's cute, but I don't like its evolved forms. It should have stayed on 4 legs.
Okay, as I said, interestingly enough, it's funny to say that I have not actually seen much of this game as far as the forms of anything. So it'd be kind of an interesting thing, kind of just going into this blind, and I guess chronicling that, you know?
Yeah. And while it's nice that, that Skeledirge, the final form of Fuecoco, does shift to being on 4 legs, it would be nice to have a purely 4-legged evolutionary chain for a starter.
I guess then, in that case, what is your favorite generation as far as starters?
Favorite gen for starters? That's a bit of a tough one.
Okay.
I like specific starters.
Sure, I mean, I've mentioned that too.
Probably my favorite starter of all time is Rowlet. Well, Rowlet and its evolutions.
Right, that was from Black and White?
That was from Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon,
okay. From Black and White, while I'm not really a fan of the first or second forms of any of the starters, I love Serperior and Samurott.
Okay. Yeah, Samurott's helped me actually a lot with stuff I've been doing with Jade. Wait, is it in Jade or I'm thinking something else? I'm confusing there.
And for Gen 6, I definitely go against the grain in Gen 6, but I adore Delphox and don't particularly like Greninja.
Okay, well, I mean, it's funny you say that because I know there's a lot of people who like Delphox more, I think, because of some of the stuff that it's able to do.
But I mean, like, a lot of people absolutely adore Greninja on all fronts. I mean, I'll admit that it's a good Pokemon for battle, but I really don't like it that much.
As far as the design?
Yeah, I don't like its design. It's too overpowered with Protean, which fortunately got nerfed this gen.
This one or from Gen 8?
This gen.
This one, okay.
Along with the copycat Protean ability that Cinderace got. I think it was called Libero.
Yeah, that was. It's funny because I love Cinderace as far as Gen 8. The version of it I have didn't have that actually, because it was the hidden one that they didn't have available when the game was around or when it started to come out. So at that point, I just ran with what I had, but I was liking hearing what it had as far as it, but I also said, man, that could be a case where maybe it's gonna be a question of some balance. I guess that's always a question. Whenever they do stuff with this franchise, they do what gets balanced. Usually, I guess they do one thing, and then the question of then the next one is fix stuff or adjustments.
Yeah, like on the one hand, I love abilities like Protean and Libero. Well, basically, I love Protean and Libero, but at the same time, those two abilities are too powerful.
And Protean and Libero, they are, remind the audience what it is.
Well, whenever the Pokemon uses a move, if it's not already that type, it becomes that type.
Right, that's it. Okay, are they the same as far as what the abilities are? As far as what they do?
Yeah, Protean and Libero just have different names. It's the same ability.
Okay. Well, I got another battle.
Yeah. Fortunately, in this gen, it only works the first time it activates in a battle.
Okay. Alright, so it's almost like how when Drought was around, they then changed that for Generation 5 Blue. Basically.
I believe it was... Was it Gen 5 or Gen 6 that it got changed?
It was one of them, because, basically you can have infinite weather going on forever, but then they just said, it goes off once and it runs like the 5 normal one, right?
The weather abilities, Drought, Sandstream, etc., Those can go off multiple times in a battle, but each time it only lasts for 5 turns or 8 turns if you have the corresponding weather hold item.
Okay.
Like a smooth rock for Sandstream.
Sure, no, I get that. And we are fighting Arnau, who there's nothing famous as far as a famous name to put to him, but he has one of my favorite Pokemon in the entire franchise.
Larvitar?
Larvitar, especially what that evolved into. I told the story to you, I think, of when I was fighting Edwax Gigantamax Charizard with my not Dynamaxed Tyranitar. I did survive one of the hits he had as far as something that I think was grass. It was something that almost killed me. And then I Rock Slide and I one-shotted it, and I remember Nikki's jaw hitting the floor saying, "Oh my god, you just died in one hit." I mean, even gift that, I know the idea like, hey, Charizard with defense being low, yes, but even with that, you know, even I was taken aback, it's like, okay, I took him down. That can be very satisfying too. Alright, so he's quad weak, by the way, to grass, so at least absorb the health a little, even though it's not very strong yet.
It's still one-shotted a Larvitar.
Yeah. I wish I could toss the ball now and steal the Larvitar, because I love Larvitar so much. But, yeah, you can't do that. Imagine if you could do that in one of the games. I mean, the closest I guess we got to that was with, oh wait, that's all he's got. He only had Larvitar. And, yeah, give me your money. I was gonna say, the only game that sort of does something like that is Pokemon Coliseum on GameCube, although even then you're doing it for the purpose of, hey, they got stolen, so then you have to be the one to bring them back.
Oh, I mean, there was also XD.
XD has the same mechanic that way?
Like, you can steal Pokemon.
Okay.
I mean, you can still only steal Shadows.
Sure.
Just like in Coliseum, but XD and Coliseum, you can in fact steal Pokemon.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was like, well, how that was working, because I never played XD. I have Coliseum, which costs a lot of money, actually, I realize, and so does Pokemon XD.
Yeah, I have a, I believe, complete in-box copy that I kind of want to sell, actually.
Which I'm surprised hearing that, because, I mean, given how much money it costs. Having said that, I mean, no, I get that, like, whatever, but then again, the question of, are you always going to be in a case like that for it? But also, I mean, because they take down other games you have, like Mega Man Legends 2, where they cost about the amount, but like, hey, I don't know if you'd ever get rid of those.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of the double battle format.
Now, well, those games do have you do double battle the whole way.
Yeah, it's basically pure double battles.
Which I like that it changes what the idea is, but then the question is, hey, if you're not big for that idea and because you have to do that the whole game, you have to rethink it as far as how your battle strategy goes. Actually, I don't think we've got. No, I haven't gotten into that yet in this game. I don't even know if it is in this game. I'm gonna assume it is, but we'll see eventually.
Yeah, double battles are in fact in this game.
Okay.
Like, there is one gym leader who actually specifies double battles.
Okay. Which I always found that an interesting idea as far as being able to, I guess, adjust certain things. I'm saying that, because one of the TMs I picked up as we were walking along was Helping Hand, which would be very useful when you're doing double battle, or, I guess, is it still triple battles?
I don't believe triple battles or rotation battles, for that matter, are a thing anymore.
Okay. I was gonna say that this game probably would fuck it up as far as the tech, but I don't know. I'm not sure if that was the reason, or just like, hey, people were not big on them.
I think they probably just weren't all that popular.
Okay.
Which I can see that. I mean, triple battles were always more popular than rotation battles, but I think double battles were where people tended to find the best balance.
Okay, no, I get that. Alright, so he saw a Pokemon that he saw Terrestrialize. We'll see what's going on. I mean, is it mostly we're going to see, I guess, it's going to be the texture pop in and the draw in, which makes the stuff you're showing me with the Xenoblade games look like nothing. And, oh yeah, I'm back at where the university is. Although, I could go back to where the university was, because I didn't go out the other way, so you know what, I can go out the other way, that'll be fine. I'm also trying to find bread for picnics. I don't know, I was like, here's a weird case. Is there actually bread you can buy? Because I looked around, I was like, hey, if you're having maybe sandwiches for the picnics and all that stuff, can you buy bread? It's like, I went everywhere. I went to the bakery, there was no bread. Maybe just the bakery in town over there. Maybe if I go other places, I'll see some.
Yeah, I mean, there are multiple places to buy food in town.
Okay.
And I'm sure that at least one of them is going to have some kind of bread.
Okay, so it's weird, because then I was like, let me go to the bakery, they'll have bread. No, they didn't. I went to the, no, the bakery had, like, the stuff you put on top of or put on the sandwiches. And it seems like it's weirdly backwards when I did it, but I only saw that in the first town, which actually, since it fell down here, I'm just gonna go back all the way up. I mean, I do like the idea that hey, I'm on bike the whole time, just kind of going along. And the idea that hey, your Pokemon is a bike, it's got Bullet Seed.
Yay, Bullet Seed. An actually halfway decent move.
Yeah, although I don't know if I have anything that really runs physical attack for that. And I don't think anything I have can run skilling, or get skilling as far as ability.
Yeah, no, but it might... I know Hoppip's, Skiploom is more of a special attacker than a physical one, but if it can get Bullet Seed, it might be worth sticking it on there for some damage.
Okay, yeah, I might do that going on. Just to see. I think I mentioned maybe this on a couple times, but when it's come to stuff with that, as soon as they introduced Skill Link, I was loving the fact that they introduced Skill Link.
Skill Link is phenomenal, and I will forever love Cinccino and Minccino for that reason.
Oh, they run it as well?
It's their hidden ability.
Okay. In my case, the one I used it for constantly was Cloyster.
Yeah, and those two get their own signature multi-hit attack, Tail Slap. Well, at least it was their signature at the time.
Okay.
Tail Slap, Bullet Seed, and what's the rock type multi-hit move?
Rock Blast.
Rock Blast.
Okay, so they have multiple moves they run. I mean, admittingly with Cloyster, the only thing it really has that it goes well with for is Icicle Spear that I'm aware of. Yeah. But it's great. I love the idea of how Icicle Spear ran. And so in that case, actually in Gen 8, I built one specifically around that, and it actually served me very well.
But yeah, my favorite moveset on the Chinchillas is Sing, Tail Slap, Bullet Seed, and Rock Blast. Okay. Sing just to throw a wrench into everything.
Yeah. And I guess that's the only sleep move it learns, am I right with that?
I believe so.
Okay.
But, I mean, hey, it's still a sleep move. It may be unreliable, but I'll take it.
But also when it happens, it's also the kind of thing, A, you're really happy, and the opponent's really, oh no, I got hit by this thing. So, that's going to be the question. Or, I mean, fine, I guess let's also go into this with this game, the question of... Because I don't know if that was a factor when it came to some of the RNG stuff with, I think, the Battle Stadium in this game, where there was cases where it could just, have one-hit KO moves going 100% of the time. I think they've since fixed that, but I was like, yeah, this is like Pokemon Stadium 1. I was like, oh boy. It's like, what's that about? Although, I don't even think Pokemon Stadium 1 didn't do the RNG correctly. I mean, there's a lot of things that Pokemon Stadium 1 did not do correctly in terms of how they managed, I guess, certain things being able to hit Pokemon with abilities and things. They're sort of going into Generation 1 logic a little bit, but also had things that was not 100% in it. So that was the idea, but I mean, I don't know what that was as far as like the RNG stuff. You saw that as far as like, I think it was the Battle Stadium game. You familiar with that problem with this? It was something with where it's not refreshing the RNG correctly. So you have like the one-hit KO moves like Sheer Cold and things like 30% accuracy. There were cases where they hit every time. It wasn't resetting it right. Which kind of busts that, honestly, specifically. It's almost one of those cases where whenever they put patch notes out on this, first off, when they did the first one, they didn't put out patch notes. People rightly said, what are you fixing? Then the next one they did, and they said what they fixed. It's the question of, yeah, maybe it was like they thought this was okay with this present. I mean, at least they fixed it, but also the question of that, and then also that they're breaking other things. So that was kind of a question that to me. Alright, fine, let's go the other way, because like, alright, fine, what's going on? Oh, we have a picnicking girl with her Eevee. Our bags to filled ingredients we got. Cheese, jam, and strawberries. Okay, alrighty. There's best to eat outside. Alright, I will do that. Yeah, no, fine, let's pick it up with you, friend. Actually, I've not run into stuff with Eevee at all in this game. I guess I'll also see, because I don't know about this, if there's another evolution for Eevee. It seems like it's been a while since we saw the last one.
If you want to know, I can tell you.
I'm going to assume that it's going to be a yes.
No, there isn't.
No, there isn't. Okay. Oh, Mareep! I want this. I want this so badly.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I didn't know this was in the game. Okay, now I'm happy about that.
Yeah, Mareep is everywhere in this area.
Okay, thank God. I was like, I was hoping it was not a version exclusive or something. That's full song out.
Yeah, but like Mareep, it is practically everywhere.
Okay, good, because I don't know if I've chronicled enough. I gave lip service to it when I played this the first time a couple weeks ago, but the idea that I love Mareep and I love what it evolves to in particular, going back to Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal.
Yeah, Ampharos was always such a fun Pokemon to use.
But then I go from Crystal, it's not in Crystal. It's like, oh no, it's not in Crystal, but fine, I had Gold. But, that being said, it evolves into Ampharos, which is amazing. Probably my favorite electric types from franchise, honestly.
Yeah, Ampharos has a good design, and I hate Mega Evolution as like the way it ended up being implemented on just everyone's favorites and not the Pokemon that actually needed it.
Generally speaking.
Like, I really like what they did with Mega Ampharos. Like, it was clearly intended to have something to do with dragons, from when Ampharos, first was a thing.
I mean, the design, I could see it when we get to, fine, we saw it in the first part. The first part, one of the Pokemon walking around in one of the cutscenes was Ampharos, so in that case, that was it.
Yeah, but, like, Ampharos has always been one of my favorites since 2nd gen.
Yeah. In fact, in my case, it was like, that was the electric type I ran the entire game, and I was very happy that way.
Like I said, Mareep is everywhere. You, like, the cluster of 5 that you went past a moment ago.
Well, I'm glad of that, because I went the other way, so I said, okay, fine, since you're here, let's go this way, and then go into a little bit of a, I guess, more of a Pokemon discussion and then the idea of, as I said, I'm going to probably pull other people, I guess, when I'm doing recordings for other plays of that, just to get their overall, and also have to look at the 1.0 version, I think. And get the discussion really about this franchise, because I've also said that when we start Pokemon fully, aside from this one, we're going to start with Pokemon Yellow version, and I think what I want to do on that one is I want to try and see if I can't have people on, like one person on a part, or one group of people on a part, and then others on another one, to get an idea of their layout of Pokemon as a franchise, or maybe start with this one and do that. Because that seemed like maybe that's the idea, because Pokemon has been such a big thing for people. It's getting well cared. Okay. It could be useful when I have stuff that can run it, or stuff that I'm going that's heavy, but right now... I got Star League. Because I talked about how much I'm a Star Raptor. Speaking of Pokemon I loved from Generations.
I'm actually back on the subject of favorite Pokemon. I never finished my favorite starters.
What is yours? Yeah, go on.
So... Yeah, let's have... I think I've covered Gen 5 and above.
Yes.
Gen 4, like, I wouldn't say that any of the Gen 4 starters are on my favorites list, but I do like Empoleon.
I love Empoleon. That is actually, of those, that is on my favorite, although, fine, then again, I don't remember, what's the fire starter in that one?
Infernape.
Infernape is quite a good one as well.
Infernape is a really good Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
But they could have done better with its design, I think. I'm not sure exactly how, but...
I don't know, maybe the fact that it came after Blaziken, and I mentioned how much I love Blaziken.
Well, I mean, the big problem with Infernape was that it was another firefighting starter final evolution in a row.
Right.
And then the following gen, we got Emboar, which was another firefighting type, though at least its stats were substantially different from Blaziken and Infernape.
Right.
I will absolutely give Emboar credit for that, because it was a slower, bulky, powerful, firefighting type, as opposed to, Blaziken and Infernape, which were basically relatively fast, strong firefighting.
Okay. And I was surprised, like, hey, we were talking about mimics with, like, the boxes from Parasite Eve and Mega Man Legends 2. It was like, fine, this game has them too, give me Drool. I guess I probably should expect that. It's like, hey, there's not treasure chests in this franchise that are interesting that much. So, like, fine, what is this? Either way, it's going in the wall. And then I guess then after that, going back to Gen 3, 2, and 1, what's your takes on those?
Gen 3, I adore Sceptile.
Okay.
I adore Sceptile. A lot of people love Blaziken. I love Sceptile.
I'm one of those on Blaziken, but it's also the kind of thing that Sceptile does have a versatility to itself that is interesting. Probably the most, am I right to say this, the most underrated of the 3 stars in that game compared to...
I think so. I think Swampert's design is overrated. I mean, Mudkip doesn't really change that much except for getting bigger along its evolution chain.
I mean, it's on 4 feet, or 4 legs specifically, is what you're saying before. So there is that.
Yeah, but like, they could have done so much more with Mudkip's evolutionary line instead of just basically having it get a little bit bigger with each stage.
Yeah, no, I get that. Actually, I remember he's Ghost, so yeah, this is not going to be used. So let me pull out, skip one of the things weak enough I can not hurt him. Yeah. Actually, this is the first thing I've tossed balls at, and it's not going into this song. So actually, it's good to go into this with the discussion that way.
Yeah.
And then Gen 2 and 1.
And then Gen 2, Typhlosion, but for Alligator gets a very strong honorable mention.
Yeah, I'm all Cyndaquil, and then of course Typhlosion for Generation 2 myself. But it's also the case that running stuff for Alligator, I've actually realized how interesting he is.
And regarding Gen 1 is overrated as hell, but if I had to say a favorite, probably would be Venusaur.
Yeah, I'm a tough one as far as like which one I'd say my favorite is. I would say probably maybe Venusaur or maybe Blastoise. But and Charizard's useful in certain things, particularly when Pokemon Yellow came out, because in that case, he has more moves. He has the ability for Fly and for Earthquake, which was awesome. I said that is the version we're going to show.
Yeah.
Hey, if nothing else, let's say this, but Gen 1 it is more functional than this game is.
Yeah, but like
way more functional than this game is, and that is not an exaggeration.
But like, I'm definitely in the camp of people who thinks that a lot of people way overrate Gen 1.
But then again, also maybe the idea of like what the toxic circles might be, as far as you have to hear that a lot.
Yeah.
So that's sometimes a factor. Because we talked about the toxic fandoms on the show before. I mean, we're going into that when we go through more of Mega Man Legends 2. But having said that, it's still the question of like, hey, can that do something specifically, you know?
Yeah.
Alright, we finally got it, and so, yeah, we're at the top of the tower, we did get what we needed. And it's a nice view, as far as what we got up here. Yeah, it lives in a chest, and it's in shock course because nobody realizes it's a Pokemon. Yeah, but there he is. So give him gold, is it going in the box? It's going in the book, which I do like the book touch. The idea that, hey, you have all the Pokemon, they're putting them into like a little album. Actually, wait. Oh, right, I forgot. Right, when you fall down, yeah, your cell phone saves you. I forgot about that. Actually, wait, let's go back up. Go back to where I was before I fell. Oh, okay, so basically it does revive you. Okay, so fine. Alright, so yeah, my tiny 10-year-old body, or however old the main character is, can't survive a fall, but yeah, my cell phone will save me. Or as I said when we did it a couple weeks ago, I said, in the case of you're out in the wilderness and you make sure you actually brought your cell phone, so not like the movie 127 Hours, which is based on a real-life story of a guy who's caught between a rock, specifically, and then he actually had to cut his arm off. You see that in graphic detail in that movie, specifically.
And there's a Smoliv.
Small, yeah, I did get small. Oh, no, I think I saw Small when I was fighting the grass gym. I think I got it. Yeah, the shadows. Yeah, look at the shadows going. Okay, that's, I don't know if you've ever seen that when you were...
I think that's still in the game.
Okay. Nothing else is said, it's also just, I guess a bit of a document as far as what this is. Because I don't know if people who have shown or played this game necessarily said, fine, I'm going to show this in its original release form. Because we're working it a little differently to show, I guess as you mentioned before, the idea of how it's good to have the ability to have games fixed. So on one hand, like, yes, the idea of the Day 1 patch is a good thing in the sense of fixing certain things that might have a problem, but then again, if they're looking at a game and then saying that, or find people making the game, look at that and then say, you know, we don't have to fix this because we know people are going to buy it no matter what, which is unfortunately the truth with this game, that is also something that needs to be, you know, especially coming on Nintendo, and that's the other thing, because remember, 4 years ago, the great video game crash, who saved the industry from the end of stuff? it was Nintendo. And that they're putting this out this way is... Okay, no, I don't want to name small...
I think you can press X to cancel.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, thank you. Or I could do Smo. Yeah, so I guess, I don't know, we're trying to make him... What's his gang name or something? Smo? Or it's gonna be the hip idea. But I mean, as I said, the idea that the great video game crash, out of Nintendo above anything else, you think that, hey, they would be better than this. And I guess the question of how they're gonna... Oh! I tripped over a Pokemon. Never had that before. And I got it already. But... Oh, what's that? Oh, is that a shiny? What is that?
No, that's a wild terrestrialized Diglett.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look and see what this thing is. Well, it has the, I don't know, the bank on top of its head or something?
I believe that's rock, maybe?
Can you tell... Okay, I'm glad you're here for this, because when it comes to a terrestrialize, can you tell what it is just by looking at the model?
Oh, yes. The stupid hat will tell you. Well, like if you once you have all the hats memorized, the stupid hat will tell you exactly what. Will tell you exactly what type the thing is.
And I take it that you don't...
I think that's the rock type hat.
Okay, and I take it based on what you're saying, you don't like the hats.
No, I think they're dumb.
I mean, I guess the question is, what other thing should they be doing, or should they have done to indicate what it might have been?
Like, I don't mind the idea of having a hat on the Pokemon to represent it.
Right.
It's just, they way overdid it.
It seems like maybe it's over-engineered, perhaps.
Yeah, the hats themselves look stupid, but,
Well, fine, we knocked it off, so there you go, perfect timing. And we're gonna ball this dude.
like, I like the concept, I like the flexibility that it gives in battle, I just hate the way it looks.
Okay. So it's more a visual thing.
Yeah.
Alright, so... Oh, alright, I tripped over another small...
Yep. And this one, you pretty much literally tripped over it.
You know what, fine, let's try and kill it with Magikarp, because why not? Unless it starts using... Wait, does it only know growth at level 7?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
It might have absorbed.
Yeah, fine, if it keeps doing that, we'll see.
I would guess either absorb or pound.
Okay. Well, fine, maybe this would be funny to be able to beat him with Magikarp. Because, like, I want Gyarados, damn it. We were so close to Gyarados.
Oh, sweet scent. But that's not going to do anything.
That's the evasive drop, right?
Yeah. That does basically nothing. And now it's dead.
Alright, bye-bye, Small. So yeah, good look at Magikarp taking care of things as boss. But now, yeah, because we gotta get over to Gyarados eventually. Alright, hi. You. What are you doing? Here's Daily Bell Special. Alright, what do you got? Okay, it's Alba. I know Jessica Alba, but that's the last name. Fine, we'll say it. Jessica Alba wants to fight. Jessica Alba sent out Pichu. Alright. I did catch one of those on my walk up to school, but I do want Magikarp out of the way for this. Then we'll take him down with, actually Lechonk, because I have much shot to do with that. As I said, I've mentioned to you as well, like, hey, every time there's a battle or a trainer, like, I'm giving them a famous name. Although then, going back to Pokemon Coliseum and XD, they all have these other names that are not names people have. So, like, okay, I can't do that with that one. And also, it means I always put a picture, like, who is it in reference to? So, that's the idea. Okay, yeah, one shot at Pichu. Bye-bye. Alright, so there you go. Bye-bye. Alright, I'm closing up shop. Yeah, are you going to be able to do that with the money that I took from you? That is...
That's a Squappet.
I'm trying to remember if I got one of those. I probably did. Actually, I did not get a Kricketot, so let's go get Kricketot as well. Exactly, I think one of the parts of Shadow Hearts that the Shader 64 didn't get on Pokemon Cry or Kricketune, I was laughing my ass off as far as that. And that can sometimes be the fun thing as well, just when it's like, hey, they remember what those cries are. Wait, what cry was that? I was like, oh wait, that's something for that. I mean, I even did that when we did this about a couple weeks ago when I found the gas disc. Did the it's like, yeah, I remember that specifically. Alright, so we almost got it. Keep struggling, Bug. You're going to the ball now. Should not be too bad of a catch on him.
It should be pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna assume the reason that you didn't get the Gimmighoul at the beginning or a little while ago is because he has a lower catch rate. We didn't talk about that really.
Yeah, Gimmighoul's catch rate is a little low, I think.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't really talk about that last time, although, in all honesty, it didn't really come up as far as a factor. I mean, and it's been there since the start, although I guess it's been more clear that it is a factor with the more recent generations. Oh, what was that? You saw that with it.
There's a little flicker.
Okay, no, another one. Okay. Okay, yeah, we didn't show that way. Who else is on tap? Okay, you. Also, do anybody I can fight? Okay, what I hit? Oh, no, the Diglett. We're so close on Gyarados, or get to Gyarados. Like, how far am I? Fine, let's, yeah, let's get Skiploom out. Skiploom needs help anyway. Oh, right, it has retrap shit, so I'm stuck. Alright, this might not be good. Alright, we'll see how this goes. There's nothing else. Like, yeah, I remember, I guess, Magikarp has to work to get to the end of, its road. Which is interesting. I think when I first got the idea in Generation 1, it's like, hey, I bought this Magikarp for $500 from the Pokemon Center outside of Mount Hood. And I was like, okay, cool. It's a Pokemon. Here's $500. No problem. And I realized, hey, it's not very strong. And then the idea of, you know, when it gets to 20, I'm scared. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I want that. Although, yeah, I'm doing okay with this thing.
Yeah, like the 500, the Magikarp for 500 in Gen 1, I think, is still something of a steal.
Yeah.
Just considering how powerful Gyarados is.
Right, and I know the anime then mirrored that because of the idea that James bought one and Gold played a Pokeball, and it was like, yeah, this thing is gonna make me money, but then the Pokeball is a false gold, I think it was like Pyrite or something. And then the idea that, okay, it didn't do much, but of course then he was on the receiving end of it. I think there was like a Pokemon Abridged I saw at some point, I don't know if it's around, because of the licensed music thing. They put to the transformation scene, they put All Guns Blazing by Judas Priest, which is hilarious to be hearing that when Gyarados is coming out of the water. Alright, so Magikarp and the rest of my team is there. How far are we with Magikarp? I need to see. Let's take a look at his summaries. Okay, 6 to 34, so not bad. Also want to look at stats a little, because... Actually, where are stats? Are they shown here?
What aspect of stats are you...
I don't know, attack, oh, there it is, right there. Oh, it's the chart, okay. Okay, never mind. Alright, so, even with the attack at 8, you've been seeing that I'm actually doing some decent damage on some of the Pokemon, even the ones that, even that Diglett that was at higher level than some of the other things I had a little lower, right? We have nice battles, yes we have, Mr. Suited Man. Be one trainer, once you defeat 5, you get a lovely prize. Okay, but I think we're gonna see what's in town in Portondo. Looks like a bit of a western town, sorta. This student's Heracross. Nice sounding name, yes, like lovely olive. So there's a good old Heracross from Generation 2.
Mm-hmm. And it was a pain in the ass to find in Gen 2.
Yes, it was, because you had to use the headbutt in the trees. Yes?
Yeah, and like, I think there were specific trees based on your trainer name and ID number.
Based on... Oh, I didn't know it was based on that. I knew there were areas you could go to, but I wasn't sure if it was actually based on that.
Well, like, specific trees in specific areas that depended on something to do with your trainer and ID number.
Okay.
That determined whether you could, that determined, whether you would, determined which trees would have any chance of having Heracross.
Okay.
I think that was the case.
Oh, let's have some ice cream now. Okay, I don't know, I didn't open his mouth on that one, but okay, we're getting our ice cream, which is nice. But I think my Pokemon level 2. And yeah, tell me about this. The egg power, experience point powers, and the raid powers. That is, what is that specifically as far as upping that for?
Let's see. I believe it's minus that you can press to,
Right here.
Okay, which one did you get?
I got a strawberry.
So, egg power, I think, makes it more likely that you'll receive an egg when breeding.
Okay.
Experience point power, basically, I believe it gives you bonus experience when defeating Pokemon of the type assigned to that power. So, in this case, water types.
Okay, and then raid power, I guess that's for the raids.
Raid power, I think, gives you some boosts against rock type raids.
Okay. What do you think of the raids in this game, by the way?
I'm mixed. Like, when they run well, and some of them were, like, I think the most recent patch actually did, I think, stabilize the raids somewhat.
Yeah, in one way, but it also fucked up another raid.
But, I mean, raid stability was a big problem, in my opinion. It's still not perfect.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is an understatement, but I mean, given the fact that the last patch, and this almost happened to Edwack by accident, as I guess here's the gym here. This isn't the electric gym, is it?
No.
Okay. But, okay, fine, because the last patch, they added in the special raid for... There are 2 Pokemon that go later that Edwack was saying go into spoiler territory, if I knew what they were. But apparently, if you don't patch the game will not do a check for the current version. So if I took this online, say, I'm not doing that, but if I did, I tried to go into a raid, the game does not do a version check saying what version of the game are you running for that. So if you go in without doing it, and Edwack almost did that by accident, you will get an egg when you go in there because it doesn't know what those raids that was running. And it also means that you can never get the raids for those Pokemon ever again, to the point where when they patch the game at the end of the month again, they're going to run that again because of this. So I was like, yeah, and he almost did it by accident, so he was like, wait, I was like, we're going to put the patch out at the end of February after one of the Pokemon, the Pokemon Presents thing that happened. But then he was like, where's the patch? And he had to go out to the Switch menu to find it, and it was one of those cases where it was like, yeah, thank God I didn't go and do that, because otherwise I would have been out the ability to get this Pokemon that people really want. I guess then the question of, yeah, how the terror raids are. I mean, I did one of the offline ones for the purpose of the play last time. It worked fine as far as how it was, but then again, the question of this, as I guess we're, I don't know, playing soccer here or something like that, or football. So, okay, so it's like, I don't know if you played Rocket League, it's almost like that, except for with Pokemon. Can you imagine that crossover, the Rocket League Pokemon crossover, a little bit? Or if you played Monster Madness on Nintendo 64, there's a remote for that as well. Okay, it's gone. So fine, all of theirs, like, yeah, okay, I gotta be more careful with that, so yeah, I don't know how to play football as far as how Pokemon is going. They probably used to do it, I'm gonna assume, with the gym challenge, I think. But, I guess we'll see. There's also a question, are the gyms the same between Scarlet and Violet that you're going to?
Let's see, I think they are all the same.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay. So they're all a festival. Okay, that's what it is. It's an olive. Okay, what are they running at this gym? I want to see what's going on, so if it's something I might be able to manage. Or we'll just get Gyarados set up out of the way. Alright, fine, here's Nimona again. Yeah, who clearly has a fetish for battling, and that is probably actually a literal indication. But, Vaya. Good to see you again. Yeah, yeah, that's what happened. It was random, I guess. Sure. Yeah, what a weird coincidence. Like, I'm not stalking you, I promise. No, that's probably her case. Okay, fine, she's saying that. Alright. Yeah, might as well battle now that you're here. Yeah, but won't challenge your battle, because apparently they say that, yeah, you can't battle indoors, or I can't have Pokemon walking around indoors. Yeah, I've definitely gotten stronger since the last time. Oh, you should give me stuff. Ethers. Alright, thank you. So she's nice giving me stuff, at least, so I appreciate that. And I definitely like her gumption. She's always the one who's like, yeah, she's never gonna stand down from something. Hello, buddy. Oh yeah, there's Vivlian. Actually, this reminds me, I was gonna ask you this, because last time I talked about Vivlian, that star appeared in Generation 6, so X and Y on 3DS. I know there's the perspective that there are different patterns for Vivlian's, wings, based on the region you get it from, as far as playing the game. I knew you were on a mission at one point to try and get all those. Did you ever get all those?
I think I do actually have all of them.
Really? Okay, that's cool.
There might be one pattern that I'm missing. I'm not completely sure.
Okay. I want to at least ask that, because I knew that was something that came on. I mean, an interesting idea. It's almost like the Spindas in Generation 3.
Yeah, I do know that wherever my Japanese 3DS is, that I have it set up so I can get the monsoon pattern in my Japanese versions of the 6th generation.
Okay. That's cool.
So, I would be happy to do a bit of a Monsoon Vivian giveaway at some point.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting
once I get that done.
And I guess also once they put Pokemon Home connection to this, in my case, after they put the patch out, after they put that in, because I don't trust it. Given everything that goes on with saves getting corrupted and saves getting corrupted again, there's no way in hell I'm trusting any of this.
I mean, like, I could do the giveaway through Pokemon Home or something.
That's true.
Nothing saying that I have to do it through Scarlet and Violet.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so, wait. Okay, first off, that Pokemon went away. Where'd it go? And second off, I don't remember, was Vivillon even usable in Generation 8?
No.
I didn't think it was.
Vivillon was not in Gen 8.
Okay. And I guess in Pokemon Legends Arceus, which actually, just to go to that quickly, one thing we also did when it came to our, before I did this, giving an idea of what's running better, without question, but also the idea of what was that necessarily going to look like, what would make it. Because I'm pretty sure these games are sort of running on, if not the same engine, a similar one. So the idea of how the one runs fine and this one does not.
So, wait, what was the question?
I guess it's more, because I mentioned Kazoo22 and some friends of mine. When this game came out, we had this, as far as our lunch break, we had like 2 TVs set up. One was playing this game, and I said, well, let's take a look at Legends Arceus, see how it's running, and see how is it holding frame rate for things compared to this, and what's the answer necessarily for this. I guess the thought of, because I know you were a big one on Legends Arceus, am I right about that?
I loved it.
Okay.
I think I've got somewhere around 240 hours logged on it.
Okay. It's a really good game and a unique one for sure as far as what it is. Then the idea of like the tech reason as far as what this game could do or could have done to handle tech stuff the way that the other one did, where it seemed like the other one had some stuff to it, but it seemed like it was generally speaking pretty stable, even on day one. I remember that because Maddox bought the game and he said, I wanted somebody to demo this, not myself, and I said, I'll do it. I used his real name, which I'm not going to indicate here, on screen. He's like, I hate putting my real name in the game. And he's like, now you've caused me, like, I'm never going to play this game because of you. But he said, but I realized, no, you played more of this game than even I have. So like, okay, that was a lie, but either way, we're going to do the olive roll. Okay, it's fine. It's like the egg roll of Easter, but it's not quite the same thing. Alright, fine. I got to push this thing pretty much, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, okay, ugh. Just push it along. I don't know, did you do this?
It's possible to get through this without even engaging in battle.
I don't know, I think I might want to get into battle because it might help me out. Oh! Well, fine, I'll go where it's going. Basically, I gotta get it over to the goal over there. I guess there's reason to go in battle because then it's like, hey, get more experience, yes?
Oh, yeah.
Fine, let's fight that dude right there. I'll try to get the olive rolled. I guess I can't pick it up and run into, or pick it up, I just have to run into it, right?
Right.
Okay, so fine, you know what, he's my last line of defense. I'll tell you, we'll fight him because he's our last line of defense, so yeah. Yeah, the Cole's passed here, was like, fine. Yeah, I'm not getting past him easily, well, fine, let's fight for it, friends. Alright, Antonio Banderas wants to fight. Antonio Banderas sent out Venonat. Okay, I never took the Tony Medeiros for the Venonat person. Alright, let's take down with... not Magikarp, I'm pulling Magikarp away, but fine. Pivleon actually is going to be favorable here. I guess give me a sense it's probably Bug Gym, I'm going to assume. Okay, good. So once again, yeah, my starter, Crocklore, is going to be really helpful. Yeah, I'm in the confused states. We'll see if I get myself hit specifically doing this, because I didn't when we played it a couple weeks ago. We'll see. Yeah, Vivleon's confused. Okay, good. I'm getting lucky as far as the lack of those. Okay.
Would have been nice if that was a wild Venonat.
I know, yeah. Vivleon is poison victory. I'm not showing poison as far as this. In case you're not aware how poison works. At the end of each turn, you lose health. If you can also get toxic. If you get hit by that, it is poison case, but after each turn, your damage taken goes up until you eventually die. If you want to piss somebody off really badly with that, run Mean Look and Toxic, they're gonna hit you for that. Tends to be a strategy running Umbreon, I've noticed in some cases. Run Mean Look and run Toxic, and some of the stuff on top of that. Alright, so thank you, Tony Medeiros. Actually, no, it is fitting because there's a movie, a really horrible movie he was in called Life Itself, where actually he was like an olive farmer or something. So, okay, that was a more fitting one than I even knew at the time. Even the small can so strong here, they'll step aside. Oh wait, I have to fight them, and otherwise I can't push past them.
Yeah, but there are other ways to get to the goal.
Okay, I didn't know that they were actually even in the way. Like, fine, I have this big olive, I can just push it over them. That's not gonna be a problem. I was like, okay, fine. Oh, and yeah, now I got a straight shot. I do have the remix of the Gym Leader theme here. I think it's actually really cool. Alright, so goal! Yeah, we had that last night with Mega Man Legends 2. With you with the kicking the can into the trash can. That was amazing, by the way.
Yeah, 2 for 2.
I know. Yeah, you're undefeated in that record. So that'll go into the greatest feats video. I gotta figure what those are. That's gonna take some time. That'll also be an extra for the YouTube site, because I figured, you know, maybe some of this stuff it might be better to have as an extra for it, because, yeah, it is something unique. And something like this, I said, alright, because we went into a good discussion on this when I first played it. I said, I'm gonna rope in other people. Thank you, by the way, Nocturne, for being willing to be involved with, I guess, I'm not gonna say there's a folly, but the idea of this idea, I'm kind of, I guess, using it as a test subject this way, but then I also said, hey, fine, you like Pokemon, you played this game, you have more experience with this game than I do. Alright, so we're gonna fight against Katy Perry. Yeah, and that is what she's called, specifically, so let's go back and fight Katy Perry. Who apparently is a bug person. So we're gonna show her a firework for sure. Yeah, just roll my Crocklore out, and that'll be the case. Yo, let me see something. How close on you? 526. Okay, fine. 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 We can just kill with Crocklore. It's fine, but I'm gonna go to the Pokemon Center as well. Get that set. Hey, who are you? Oh, okay. Just telling me get stuff elements. Oh, get stuff healed. All right. Hi. Yeah, still up. Yeah, at 2 p.m. Yeah, like I didn't sleep in that late. But I always think of Futurama when Fry goes to Mars University. He says, "Sorry, I overslept until 5 p.m." It's like, yeah, good point. Yeah, it's not an easy excuse to use when you're in college. I will say that for sure. Unless you're working the night shift and you're a doctor at the same time, but that's about it. All right, fine. Let's go and take Katy Perry down. So, Crocklore, let's get going. I got Incinerate on him. We're in good shape, and if I do run into trouble, I have Vivleon as a backup, and I find something else that, well, fine. I have, if I had something that had rock to it, but fine. All right, let's do this. Yes, I was on a roll, no question. Congratulations for clearing the gym tests. Actually, what do you think of the gym tests as far as method before you're doing the battles?
Some of the gym tests were okay, others I just didn't care for.
Okay.
It's another reason I hate the electric gym.
Okay. So it's also the challenge of that as opposed to...
It's not even the challenge. It was just dumb.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is. We'll eventually see what it is. Or if you want to go into what it is now, you can go ahead that way.
Nah.
Yeah, you want me to find it? You want me to suffer? Fine, I'll understand the suffering, like with, as I said, we saw with some stuff going on in Mega Man Legends 2, but alright, fine.
Yeah, like, I found most of the gym challenges to be, meh at best.
Okay.
A couple of them were actually okay, and only a couple of them I thought were truly bad.
Okay.
But, not a fan of the new direction they're taking with the gyms.
Okay. Well, I guess then the question of if... Well, I don't know, maybe the fact that this game has so many technical problems, that's a smokescreen for everything else. As far as whether they're going to do stuff differently for Generation 10. Which if they release on the Switch, I'm not going to buy it just out of principle. But I mean, I think at this point, they're probably going to have it on new hardware. By the way, she's the owner of the Pastry Soapberry. I guess, what is that? Also like a bakery or something?
Something, yeah, it's kind of a bakery that I think it's a bakery that specializes more in pastries.
It's like a boulangerie. That is the French name of what a bakery like that is. Yeah, my mother was no, I'm trying to remember the thing for Austin Powers saying like his Dr. Evil's mother was like a boulangerie. No, his father was a boulangerie owner in Belgium, and my mother was a prostitute named Chloe with 2 webbed feet. Alright, so fine. I'm not in the shop. I'm on duty as the Cortando gym leader. Yeah, Katy Perry, let's take it down. Crafting Sweets and Pastry Chef. Okay. So that's your background. So you do get a lot of background, and I want to ask you this at least, because Edward was saying to me specifically, he loves what this game is doing story-wise that none of the other Pokemon games tend to. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I do like the direction they took with storytelling and whatnot.
Okay.
I kind of wish that the 3 routes were more integrated with each other instead of being completely separate.
Right.
Like not explicitly integrated like they are in most of the games, but but like maybe have some checks where you need to complete a certain amount of each of the other 2 to proceed in the 3rd.
Yeah, although I mean I know you mentioned this. I think you mentioned this. We did Mega Man Legends 2 last night, which was that sometimes the question of are you going to be locked away in something, it seems like that's a little bit of a pace breaker, but then again, you're right, when it's done well, that could be a case of saying, how do you intertwine them?
Yeah, well, the thing is, if you don't, like, it has more to do with level pacing.
Okay.
Now, if levels on all 3 of the routes scaled to what level you were to somewhere around the level that you're currently on with your highest leveled party Pokemon, I would have no problem with the 3 storylines being treated completely separately.
Okay, so what you're saying then is that for the gym, I guess it will scale it based upon where your Pokemon level is, but if you go on some of the other stuff that you're doing, it won't be that way. So you can either be too low or too high in level for it.
Yeah, like if you manage to basically ninja your way around, you can potentially get to a level 50 plus gym as your first gym.
Really?
Or later on in the game, you may have ignored the grass gym or the bug gym or something like that, and you now have a team of like level 70 Pokemon, and you're just like, I have to clean up this crap.
So basically, because I went to the grass gym first, so because that was about level 15, 20, so you're saying it stays at level 15, 20. So alright, fine. One thing I'm wondering is, I don't know what the level cap on this is based on what you're saying. So, and given that, I'm very curious, so thank you for mentioning that. Because it's giving my knowledge too.
And the same applies to both of the other routes.
Okay.
You can technically do them in any order, but you can technically do each route in, like, all of the parts of each route in whatever order you want, but they're all still fixed level.
Okay, that I did not know. That is interesting here, and I guess the question of then... Okay, because I like the idea that you're getting choice, but then the question of how it scales. I'm trying to remember. There's some game I thought that actually does like a scale that way, where you have like some choices as far as that. I'm trying to remember what it might be. Maybe you're thinking Oblivion or something else. But anyway, here's Katy Perry. Katy Perry wants to fight. Katy Perry sent out Nimble. New one to me. Let's see. I guess the question we're gonna see, like, don't take it lightly, even World of Pain. We'll see. Based on what you're saying, I don't know if this is gonna be like level. Okay, no, it's not. It's level 14. Thank God. I'll take that. And I'm not. Okay, she has 3. I'm not gonna terrestrialize it yet. I'm gonna burn him. Yeah, Incinerate has been very nice to me so far. So I'll take that until I most likely get Flamethrower. I'm gonna assume Flamethrower is gonna come later. I got Tarantula. Yeah, we're set. We're gonna hold ourselves. No problem. They're gonna Tarantula, who was in Generation 8, yes?
No, this is Gen 9.
This is new.
Nimble and Tarantula are both definitely Gen 9.
Okay, I knew Nimble was, but I didn't know,
Yeah.
was. I guess I'm confusing with the Tarantula.
You're probably confusing with either Joltik and Galvantula or Dewpider and Araquanid.
Actually, it does look like Dewpider now that you're mentioning it. But I would say probably, yeah, you mentioned the other Joltik and Galvantula. Alright, fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Also, when I ran this for the first gym, at first I said, wait, this doesn't seem like it's matching a type, but then it's like, wait, the last one they run is going to be a terrestrialized the same way, I guess, that in Generation 8 you had the Dynamax going on for the final Pokemon that ran at the gyms. That one. So, fine. I guess I'm going to assume if we're at Bug Gym, this Teddiursa, who's normal usually, is going to be terrestrialized into Bug or something that I can burn the bear with. Yeah, quite good. How should roll things out from here? Let's find out. So there is a good old Teddiursa evolves into Ursa Ring, going back to Generation 2. Then it has a lot of versatility if you know how to run it, but also something that, yeah, you want to hit like a truck, but it is slow. That being said, I think, given what's going on, I think we can just burn this baby. Burn the bear. Alright, break through your cocoon and come to your own. Alright, let's see what this looks like. This is sort of still blind playing myself. I remember when I first saw that of Nemone, I was like, what the hell is that? I was like, oh wait, no, it's this thing. It's like, boom, what's it doing? It doesn't look bugged to me, but okay, no, I guess it does look bugged because it's like, and I... Okay, I'll tell you what it looks like. Have you ever seen like the Vegas Showgirls ideas, well, dies in one hits? Where like they have like the fancy hats and then you go down to Copacabana or something. Or if you remember like the Chiquita banana woman on the labels. It's like that almost. A little bit. And yeah, Magikarp does not want to go to the next level, but Vigilance can learn Psybeam. Yeah, I want that.
Psybeam's a good move.
Yes. And it does run special, so yeah, let's do that. I'll put a screenshot away. Alright, fine. That was no issue, but then I guess what you're saying is that I could go find a gym that's like level 50, and I won't be ready.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I could have sworn, as I said, there's something that had like a scale going. Actually, how did Pokemon Legends Arceus handle that? As far as what it did for scaling? I know it's a different way the game plays than this. There's something that did like this.
Levels were fixed in Arceus,
They're
but
fixed.
because of how because of how the story approached each area, you, generally speaking, wouldn't run into too many things that were well outside your level.
Okay.
And when you did, it was pretty obvious.
Right, I mean, I sort of noticed this a little bit when I played this, and it says that, hey, I ran into a Hariyama that was of a high level, like, I can't manage this. But that's interesting thinking about it. It's like, okay, fine, that game doesn't do it either, because of the way the game design works, it doesn't become a liability. Either way, we got Jim. And yeah, I'm getting my free cupcake. Alright, I had Victory Road.
Oh, 2 free cupcakes, and I bet she's willing to give more.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. Or fine, I always think of the movie Amarcord by Federico Fellini, where it goes into more adult directions as far as a busty owner of a shop like that, but that's another story. Yeah, you'll never get a Pokemon play of any kind that's gonna reference that. Promise you. But alright, we got 2 gym battles. So Pokemon level 30 will be easier to catch, and they'll obey you. Which actually, that also goes to the bug I think they fixed, which is that if you do trade over of a Pokemon to somebody else, and then you trade it back, even if it's in the same level of a badge you have, there are cases where it wasn't obeying.
Huh.
Oh, so basically, if you want to trade your Haunter to get a Gengar or something, it comes back. There were cases where it's like, hey, even if you have the right badge, it was not actually obeying, even though after it came back. So something that I didn't do the check right or something specifically, I mean, really, when it comes to some of these glitches, aside from because we haven't seen crashes on this specifically, it seems like a lot of this stuff is stuff underneath the engine of this, which is weird. Just like, wait, they've gone all these games, even Gen 1, which fine, Gen 1 had problems too, but that was also 1996. This was last year, and this was on hardware that is multiple times more powerful. So it's a case of, look, whatever as far as Generation 1, like, I can at least hold Generation 1 in a better regard just for that reason alone. And hey, I have the most solid version, the most stable version of Generation 1 of the original ones, not counting remakes. So that's the reason also for Yellow. It's like, fine, would you Yellow for that reason alone? Because, hey, it's the most stable. And also, because the other thing we're going to do is we're also going to do, I get the TM of Pounce. I'm also going to be doing Pokemon Stadium after that, because I have the Nintendo 64 version that has the transfer pack usage. I have the transfer pack, I have the cartridge. We'll go in there, we will play through the game with the team that it built up, so any suggestions from you as far as things you want to see me run when I play that, fair enough, and then we can put that into Pokemon Stadium. I will show off Surfing Pikachu, or as far as get him off screen and show him, because I know it's a hard thing to get Surfing Pikachu, and do that. Which I guess is a fitting thing, because at the time of this recording, actually this is a bug tag, Pounce?
Yep.
Pounce is the target and may lower their speed. Okay, cool. Because I was going to say, at the time of this recording, Wednesday is the Nintendo 64, the Switch Online expansion pack release of Pokemon Stadium 1, but unfortunately, it does not have the transfer pack usage, even though they have the Game Boy app, although, okay, they were open about it, unlike Rare with GoldenEye, where they did not say at the beginning, oh, you're going to be able to, you need the digital version of Rare Replay only. But the question then is the Switch Online's architecture even strong enough to do that, number one? And number two, yeah, should they figure a way that, or will they do that for Pokemon Stadium 2 whenever that comes around? Because this is going to be a question, given how the AI can be for that, it could look doing a rental thing, and yeah, you can't get Surfer Pikachu because of that. So it's like, alright. So like, yeah, whatever, we'll see how that is, and also how it emulates.
Yeah.
And yet, generally speaking, they've been better with the emulation stuff, if nothing else. I mean, the Pilot Wings port they did is terrific. The Pokemon Puzzle League did really well. Aside from the control thing, GoldenEye was fine. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's going to be a question for that. Oh, wait, somebody wants my thing. If you want to go anything on this set, I'm on the Pokemon Stadium thing, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected that.
Mm-hmm.
The way things are turning out with Pokemon Stadium on through Switch Online, but it doesn't make it any less disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a weird one then, because like, hey, you know, going to that degree for bringing something like that back, I mean, compared to other games that we're seeing, we mentioned this last night again, the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection that's out 2 days after this, where, fine, that's a retail release, yes, but it's also something that they are going to the degree of having a lot of the functionality that it had on the Game Boy Advance and a lot of the stuff that is not easy to get. So that idea of replicating and kind of holding on to that experience of what the original game was like, and I guess also in the case of this thing with Pokemon Stadium, hopefully not driving the price up. Nothing matters in my case, or I guess your case, because I think we both have them, but still, the question of, hey, if somebody wants to see how they are fully, that is going to be a little bit of a concern.
Yeah, I can see that.
Although, I mean, then again, also a little semi-unpopular opinion time. I do think Pokemon Stadium is a little overrated.
Oh, agreed.
2, I think, is a little bit better for it, but I mean, why in your case, then?
Like, it mainly goes along with my Gen 1 is overrated stuff.
But nothing about how the game is actually operating itself?
I mean, the game did also have some flaws, but then, like, it wasn't out for all that terribly long before Stadium 2 came out, and then it was Stadium 2 just as a default game, when you wanted to do Stadium-related stuff, unless you specifically wanted to use Gen 1 mechanics, or play Stadium 1 minigames.
True, that's a good idea, and I think that maybe is the excitement of people seeing this coming back. I mean, in my case, it's just something that, I don't know, I mean, for that one specifically, I kind of got tired as far as just endlessly battling, even though I built stuff up for endlessly battling.
Oh, I can think of one other thing.
What's that?
As I recall, Stadium 1, but not Stadium 2, allowed you to, just alter your Pokemon's colors by nicknaming them.
Yes. I think there's something with that in Stadium 2, but it's different. But I know with Stadium 1, they did handle it a little differently, which is interesting.
Yeah. Which, that was one thing that I did like about Stadium 1.
It was unique, and then also, fine, this they couldn't replicate, I'll say this, so fair enough point for this, because remember, Pokemon Stadium 1 did have support for the Pokemon Snap Station, interestingly enough. You could take the photo mode.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I mean, see, it's funny because it was a bit after Pokemon Snap came out and it did it, but the stadium, or the Snap Stations at the Blockbuster stores, if you go to MagFest, they drag it in, actually, for that, which is pretty cool. They actually do have the elements, you take the picture of Pokemon and you can print them out. That's the one thing I didn't do with that, because I don't know if the Snap Station was even around my Blockbuster at the time. Oh, no, I guess it was. But that being said, it was something that, yeah, you could do that. You could do it with that, but that's not replicated, which, I mean, that's a weird... I don't know how they would be able to replicate that. Maybe do like Pokemon Snap was on Wii and Wii U, where you could put it to the Wii U message boards, or the Wii message boards in the case of that one.
Yeah, or, well, you can also, there is a system in place even to export screenshots to like your phone or other device from the Switch itself.
You mean using the capture button?
Through the main system menu, when you go into your album
Sure.
and select a picture or even a group of pictures, you can have the system create a pair of QR codes where the first one gets your device to connect to the system, and the second one gives your device a link to download the pictures, and I believe video as well.
Okay.
From the Switch itself.
Well, given some of the video stuff I've gotten from this system, of weird stuff I've seen, stuff I put edits in for, that's cool to that, and actually, it's alright, fine, then thank you for letting me know that, or letting us know that, because that is, fine, that is your way of doing the photo sharing of Pokemon Stadium when it comes out in 2 days, or 3 days now at this point.
Yeah, so by that logic, you can actually quite literally print out your own photos.
Okay, so alright, there you go. Sometimes you have to figure out what you do with it, because that's what people were saying with GoldenEye's control methods, but yeah, alright, so there you go.
Yeah. Presumably, you could even do the same thing with Pokemon Snap if they ever put it on the Nintendo Switch Online
They
stuff.
have put it. It's been on them for a while.
Okay.
In fact,
so
actually,
Snap's been on there.
Yes, it is actually. In fact, I will tell you also a couple things. This is going to be a little look as far as this, but also two hidden agendas here. You gave me one. I'm going to show off other stuff on Switch Online expansion pack, because I don't know if I've actually shown you for the N64 stuff. Like Hassel, he's this dude who is saying, "Hey, I come from the Elite Four. Why are you collecting these badges trying to be a champion?" Okay, so I get my own questionnaire. Yeah, Nimona told me to do it. I want to be stronger. I'll find my treasure for fun, I guess. I can say, yeah, I guess so, fine. As I said, we're going to take the anime logic of, I want to be the very best like no one ever was. Yeah, alright. Now just a single correct answer. Oh, but then we graded, like, I'll select another answer, like, except that one, that's wrong.
For fun, I guess?
Yeah, it's like, or I'm thinking the Fairly Odd Party, it's like, yeah, don't worry, there's no wrong answers. It's like, except that one, that's wrong. So like, oh, fantastic.
Oh, I can't pick for fun, I guess, because that would totally be That would totally be the wrong answer on that set if there was a wrong answer.
I guess so. But I mean, sometimes I guess the question of when it comes to this being able to do that. Actually, when we get to Gen 3, I've got something as far as the. I can't remember what the name of the town is, where you can basically do the naming thing, and they're like, hey, something that's all the rage in town.
Yeah. And the only reason I'm saying that one response would be the incorrect one is because of the lack of conviction.
Right.
Now, it would be completely fine if that response was for fun.
That's true. Then it's like, okay, then there's like, well, maybe it should be like not as much for fun, but then the question like, why are you not so sure? Alright, all paths to the great creator of Paldeus, so they say. Nemona's youngest achieved champion rank. Yeah, because she did say she was champion, specifically. Her potential lies within us. Yeah, I would say so. That's fair enough. Always having the swagger going out. They strive to champion while let the battle him. Start training. Space experience the bitter regret of defeat. So, alright, fine, he's being straight into the point, saying like, hey, don't think this is all sunshine and lollipops. You're gonna have to kick my ass eventually. And come to our class. Maybe I'll give you a discount on tuition. Okay, so in that case, we got a good case of that, and as I said, fine. Yeah, it was all right. So I'm trying to see like how much time I've done this specifically. As I said, this is gonna be a small thing, but as I said, I'm gonna do a couple other things. As I said, let's go back to Pokemon Center. So honestly, I haven't really seen much. Okay, I got a language class specifically, so it's like, all right, fine, and an art class. So I want to go there that way. As I said, I think the idea of what these little looks, I'm going to do these every so often, I think. I'll pull other people in when we're doing recordings with them for stuff or other games. It's like, hey, just have your little layout or thought of what you're saying. If there's anything you want to go into else on Generation 9 before I go into the other two things that I'll... Actually, I don't know if I'll... Yeah, fine, I'll show you off this specifically, and then I'll also do another thing, which is getting ready for a play we're doing in a few weeks.
Sure.
Do you have anything else you want to go into on this one, or any thoughts on what you've seen in this game so far, or what you've personally played of Generation 9?
I mean, I have played a fair amount of Gen 9, but I will definitely agree that it's a flawed product. To put it nicely.
Right.
At the same time, I have found it quite enjoyable in spite of that.
Right, I mean, and that seems like that's maybe been the crux of people's argument, which is the idea that, hey, it's a game that has a lot of technical issues and other things going on with it, but they're having fun, but also my argument sometimes, which is, should you have to accept that? And also, to what degree will you put up with that?
Yeah. Now, the main reason I picked it up on release, was because of some special pack-ins for Japanese pre-orders.
Okay.
Otherwise I probably would have waited. But the Japanese pre-orders came with an actually pretty cute promo card, and each version had its own little art book.
Okay.
That's actually pretty well made. I mean, it's only 20-odd pages, maybe low 30s. But to me, pre-order bonuses like that are, that was what got me to get the game on release.
Sure, I mean, the incentivization of that, and also you're a big fan of Pokemon, so the thought was like, hey, well, okay, there was previews going about a couple weeks before this game came out, saying that, hey, there's problems with it. The reason I skipped just going this specifically is that I forgot to pre-order it, but then when I heard there was issues with some of the tech as far as they were previews, like, well, maybe I'll wait, because also the other thing is that I didn't buy Pokemon, or I didn't buy this game, as I mentioned, that's true. I didn't buy Sonic Frontiers right away, because I said, hey, I was not trusting open world on Sonic either, but shockingly that ran better on this system than this did. Actually, also because I bought Atari 50. That was my big purchase, and I bought the Steelbook edition for that. So talk about, the incentive of getting you to buy a game. And as a fan of franchise, you're like, you want this to be good, and it is fun. It's just that even with some of the other technical problems this franchise has had with Gen 1 and with Gen 7, as far as stuff for that, Nikki was saying to me, hey, some of the same issues of save corruptions happened in that one for her. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of a problem for me and a concern, especially coming out of Nintendo, who should know better, and Game Freak and Pokemon Company. It's all their faults. People say it's only Game Freak, still no, it's not. It's all their faults. But that being said, some of the pre-order stuff is pretty nice.
Yeah, like, I don't have my Scarlet and Violet art books up here right now, but I've got a Pokemon Legends Arceus art book from the Japanese pre-order. I did not actually pre-order Japanese Pokemon Legends Arceus. I bought this separately on eBay.
Yeah, actually, in my case, I pre-ordered... Okay, I'll explain my story to that.
But, well, I know we can't exactly show this on screen in video, but...
What do we always say when it comes...
Yes, we can always provide photos.
There will be an edit right here, as you're seeing as we're talking.
The cover is fantastic.
Yep.
Beautiful, shiny, etc. And, it's got some neat artwork on the inside.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really nice. I mean, in my case with the pre-order stuff, actually, I'll tell you the pre-order thing for me with Legends Arceus, because I did pre-order it. I pre-ordered the European version because it came with steelbooks, and the Crusader 64 and EdWack were huge into steelbooks for certain things. Like, I want steelbooks for this one. So I said, Amazon will not ship here as far as that. So I had to find a back door a little bit. I was like, I have connections in high places, let's put it that way. over in the United Kingdom. So I said, hey, maybe you can help me out with some of this stuff, and they did, and they came through. So I like buying 3 copies of that, one for them, one or 2 for both of them each, and then 1 for myself. It also came with this Pokeball. I guess it's kind of a Switch cartridge holder that has like divots you can put like 5 cartridges in. Like, fine, I'm gonna stuff in more cartridges to it's like I can hold 20 in that little Pokeball. It's like also the idea, like I always love the idea like holding the Pokeball and like be able to toss the things. Like, fine, I'm not doing it with the games in the Pokeball, but just being able to hold that and then the nice steelbook. So absolutely, it's cool that it's like, hey, it can get you buy a game. It can get you the idea of something like that. And it's one of these things that looking at this, even with the stuff with it, it's like. Look, my issues with this game, as I said, is about the idea that it doesn't work very well, the idea that it should have worked better, and the fact that, let's not lie here, this is getting a free pass in a lot of cases because it's Nintendo and because it's Pokemon. If this was by other companies, there would not be any hesitation to start screaming and yelling about this. So that's my one thing, and I thought that, hey, I didn't want this game to have problems with that. I wanted to like go get this and have to not be in a reservation case of this. And that's the thing, I'm playing it, I'm having fun with it. It's just that that's something that's going to be a part of this basically for all time. It's like, hey, this game launched in this bad state. They had to work through it. They had all these issues going on. And the thought that, I just hope Gen 10 doesn't end up like this. And that's going to be the question. But that being said, I think for the purpose of the look of it for the show, I think this is kind of the way I think to do it. Basically having other people, having their experience, because like, what do we always say on the show? The idea of what is the experience of everybody?
Yeah.
Especially people who haven't actually played this game more than I have, like you. So, I appreciate your input as far as that. And for everything we have there. So, I said, we'll figure when we can come back to stuff of this as far as, little bits and pieces. And we didn't involve Gyarados, you know what, fine. How far are we?
Let's see.
I want to get Gyarados now. I don't think we can end on just... Fine, we're close.
Yeah, 360 experience.
That's
doable.
We'll do that. I also then will show her what's going on with the Switch Online expansion pack before Pokemon Stadium out this week. And then also... It's going to be something... Okay, I'm not going to give away exactly what this is to all of you out there as you're watching this. I will say this. I will be editing this in, or that part in, not this thing. This is going to be standalone. And I'll also have I'll have the Switch Online expansion pack thing in for it. For what I'm gonna just have this as a brief upload. So it'll be going along with the editing I do with this, and it'll be easy, one piece of it shorter. But that other thing, I'm gonna have that in the same video that you and I are recording now, and then I'd say come back in about a little over a month. There's a show we're doing early in May. That I think it's worth having you though, just have a little bit of a look sort of on that. But in the meantime, let's get ourselves a Gyarados, why don't we? Actually, it's funny, when I did the raid thing, the Terra Raid last time, I got some experience candies, so let me just put all the experience candies I have onto Magikarp. I got on level 18, 19, I think, no, I think
18.
18, okay, you guys started at 18, like, I was getting close, so I said, I want to get Gyarados. I was like, fine. At this point, like, no, I don't think I can end until I get Gyarados. And then we do that other thing. I'll show off the Nintendo 64 stuff specifically for your case. And then, yeah, they'll show that other thing. Because, yeah, I think we were talking about that as well, if you want to go into this. The idea of the Switch Online expansion pack adding more to itself to make the $50 a year more worth the money, especially because the emulation of the Nintendo 64 stuff is getting better. The Game Boy Advance stuff they've added has been really interesting, what they have and what they have on dock.
Yeah,
and a lot of other things too.
Yeah, and that 50 per year is for the one-person version, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm currently on part of a family plan, so it's even way less per person on that.
Okay.
We just haven't upgraded it yet.
It's funny that because you're not the only one who said that. Castle22 is that way. Like some friends of his have been kind of doing a family plan that way for the cost. And he was saying like, hey, I'm not sure necessarily about what this is going to be yet, but it was also the kind of thing that as soon as that advanced stuff came out, and also the idea that I was showing, like you said, some of my friends, like, they want to play GoldenEye, so it's like, okay, that's a good reason for it if that's what you want to do, and you want to run it that way as opposed to on Xbox One and Series S and Series X. But then also the Game Boy Advance. I was like, I want to play stuff on the Game Boy Advance. I want to play Paper Mario again as far as the Genesis 4. I want to play the Minish Cap Zelda game because he not played it. And definitely some good reasons for doing that. Yeah, in that case, that's been the idea. And also, for now, though, since you do have the base plan for that, since they did have the Game Boy and Game Boy Color stuff, that is free to you. So yeah, if you have not downloaded that yet, you can do that.
I mean, I've already played some Super Mario Land 2.
There you go, good choice. We played that for the show. We had a great time. Let's just want to see that. And we're going to go through that entire franchise. At some point, I'm going to do next game in the franchise, which is Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3.
Yeah. I love the wing cap in Mario Land 2.
Oh yeah, the bunny ears.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Fitting for Easter today, for sure. Yeah, that is. Oh yeah, that was awesome. We had a great time playing it.
Like you can totally BS some stages in that game just by having the carrot.
Okay. Actually, to that, what is your background? Did you play Super Mario Land 2 growing up?
I never owned it, but I knew a couple people who had it, so I did get to play it a few times.
Okay, I mean, it's worth going because, as I said, I don't remember you being in the chat on that game when we played it, but at the very least, that's fine because we have the play, we have the record of it, but also, since you're here, we can bring it up, like, hey, we played this game, what was your experience? Because my experience, mainly, as I mentioned, we played it, was that I played Super Mario Land 3 growing up a little as far as on rented and or borrowed Game Boys. And then I played Super Mario Land 1 and 2 in 2007 when I found used copies of them. It was kind of weird going backwards as far as both of those, but the more I've been thinking with each of those, I definitely kind of gotten into them more, and I definitely did like Super Mario Land 2 especially some of the weird design stuff that goes on with it, which is very creative in the sense that like with this game, it has an open world structure. You can choose to go to any level you want, or any world you want, starting after the first one, except for the final castle. But you have that open element to it. You have cases where you're going into like the vampire world, the horror world, or like these like Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees like mask stuff going on, specifically of things. So it's definitely a weird design, but it doesn't seem like it is something unique as a critical that's Squabin. And that's something I think it is unique when you think about that with Mario, especially that it was for a game that came out 31 years ago now this year. It was really kind of advanced when you think about it, and that way I was really impressed.
Yeah.
And even in that case, it also made it good for our show because it said, hey, you know, since we're going to play this, since it was a request I got. We always do viewer requests. Whenever somebody requests a game, whether it's the viewers on our chat or also guests like you, it's always like, yeah, we're going to do that. We'll just figure when we get to do it. And I said, you know, your choice. Where do we want to go first? And in that case, it was to kind of be able to guide it that way. So, or like we did with Shadow the Hedgehog, at some point I'm going to come back to the super hard one on that one. I'm getting inches away from what that is. I see it's so close. I saw something else walking past that looked unique. I guess maybe not. You know, fine, let's just kill a couple squabits. Yeah, I'm adamant on Gyarados, and then that's how we end this for the Pokemon Violet, I guess, additional look. I do like that idea as well. I mean, if nothing else, the idea of like coming back to stuff, and I guess if nothing else, every time I come back to this game to give an idea for this show, I will hold that 1.0 version. I will not update it. But I think what I will do is maybe at some point, time down the road after they've made fixes, come back and see maybe what's happened with it. Because we talked about this sometimes, the idea that, hey, they'll make updates to things, maybe they'll make things better, but of course the question is the damage already done? I think in some cases this one it is. Sonic Origins Plus is the case of that too, although it is also something that, yeah, smartly for you and Electroverse, you can buy it, so you're in good shape because, yeah, the new one's coming out. There's the Game Gear games in it, they're going to fix stuff with it, and it's in a nice physical box. So, and there's all the DLC that I paid for, but it'll be all there for you in one box as a better value and better done. But of course, the question of should they have done that the first time? Absolutely. But yeah, that's not going to be a problem for this. Yeah, Vivian, yeah, we can take care of them, and yeah, the Gust is doing wonders.
Bye-bye, Squabit.
There we go. And we got Spur, and we got, finally, Magikarp. Here we go. It is finally evolving. All that hard work. You get rewarded for sure if you do the nice 360 camera pan. There is a boy, Gyarados. So yeah, they didn't play the song. The music be Alright, fine, there he is. So look at that majesty. Look at that. Yeah, whenever there's world conflict burning down any place, or whenever it appears where there's world conflict burning down any place it travels through, it is water flying, so yeah, don't get it anywhere near electricity. But in other cases, you're good case and learn how to bite. Because, let's do the last show. Oh, okay, alright, I hit X because that tosses up. Fine, there is Gyarados, here he is. Look at that, just going down the way. Yeah, he's like looking for something to kill. Alright, fine, what I'm gonna do is, yeah, let's look at the menu here. Take a look at a summary of how it came about. There we go, that's nice. And he does run in physical attack usually. So yeah, you want to run physical now. Whenever they did when they did the physical special split in Generation 4, the DS games. Yeah, that was when you started to run that way, and it is very nice. So we got bites, which would be very nice to have, and then other stuff as well.
And nature mints are buyable in this game.
Okay.
So,
well, actually, what was the nature? Let me take a look. What was that?
Modest.
Modest. Yeah, for the purpose of this, that was dropping...
drops physical attack, boost special.
I mean, there's a lot of special things you can learn, but since there is that method now, okay, right there. It gives you that little indication. Shows the little up arrow next to special attack and the down arrow next to attack, which I think Generation 8 did that as well. I think. Which was nice. It was like, hey, I didn't actually look at that when I did the edit for the last part. And it's Intimidate, so when you go into a battle, as soon as it sees the other Pokemon will have its attack lowered, unless there's something that will negate it. Or not do anything, but alright, fine.
Gyarados is sleeping.
Yeah, alright, have a nice sleep, my friend. It was good to see you as far as our Pokemon for Generation 9. Alright, let's go home. And I should be able to do this because I was online with this semi-recently, so I don't have to do the checking software, checking I can actually play this. Because it does do check that every couple of days if you don't touch any of the Switch Online apps. Just to show you what they add, and also show you the Japanese one, because as mentioned, and I think I indicated for you getting that set up that way, how the online works and how you can run the Japanese side. So yeah, what they've added recently, GoldenEye was the last thing they added. Pokemon Stadium is out on April 12th. They added Banjo-Kazooie. F-Zero X came out about a year ago. There's Kirby Crystal Shards, which had a game-breaking bug in it that was not in the original release, where I think we were fighting Arco on World 3. You get into a stun lock case where you actually couldn't move. They thankfully patched that, but that's also the question of, taking a game that worked and breaking it. Majora's Mask, which the Crusader 64 and I used that version to play it, which they mostly did it right, aside from a couple things here. Speaking of him, Mario Golf, bleh, he hates Mario Golf. He always says that sound effect as far as it. But I don't like this version either because there's button lag, and for a game where you're hitting the button specifically to do the swing, that is not a great case. So in my case, it's going to be when we play that, I'm running Nintendo 64 all the way, and I'm going to get the Game Boy Color version so we can show off the transfer pack usage. Also, Mario Party 1, they did re-release Mario Party 1. They did put a warning when you start it saying, hey, there's rotate the analog stick games, don't use your hands on it, and be careful. And Mario Party 2, and they do put the same warning of that on the Japanese version of Mario Party 2 because the mini games in that actually do have rotate the analog stick methods that were cut out of the United States version. And if you're wondering why are there two of them, because I have European versions activated for cases when they have that. You play at 50 Hz, but don't play at 50 Hz. You get to see what Europe had to deal with because of their power stuff. Then Mario Tennis, Paper Mario, which also had a game-breaking bug that actually would wipe all your save files away, but they fixed that, thankfully, by Piling 64, which is a great port, to the point where they actually made it better than it was on the N64 because they uncapped the frame rate, and it actually is trying to hold 60 FPS at a decent amount, not hitting it always, but it is very smooth. So yeah, I love my Piling 64, I've mentioned that multiple times. It is here. This is probably the best ported game on this, just because of how they put it together, which is a different argument saying what's the best game on this, but hey, giving it a chance and another look at a game that seems like it's forgotten, but that is an awesome one. That alone is probably worth this. If I was going to say, what should you get this for? That's a good reason. Along with Pokemon Puzzle League. So yeah, you have 3 versions, by the way, in German and French, and it does have stuff with the cutscenes. You actually see them speaking French as far as like Ash in the opening FMV cutscene, which is a fun thing to see. And then 5 versions of Pokemon Snap, in English, German, Spanish, French, and Italian, and they do the same thing as far as stuff with the voice and the Japanese they have. The Same Punishment, which was not released here, except on the Wii U and the Wii, where you can't get it anymore, which is by Treasure, the people who made Guardian Heroes, which was playing in about a month. As well as stuff that was there before, like Star Fox 64, Super Mario 64, Wave Race 64, which I'll show on the Japanese side. They have the Shindo Pack version, which has Rumble Pack support. It's awesome to be able to have that. And then went back covered operations. And Yoshi's Story, which is probably the worst thing ported-wise on this because it has significant problems with frame rate, where it's mostly holding... Oh, no, it is holding 60 FPS on Nintendo 64. It's not on this. So when we play that, I mentioned this at some point. I think, Nocturne, you called dibs when we get to this one. Am I right?
I believe that sounds right.
Yep, we're going to use the Wii U Virtual Console version, which you can't buy anymore, but also because we can run the controls a little better, because it is a 2D platform game that does run with control stick only, but those Wii U controls, you and I, for a decent amount of time, going back a couple years, we were playing around with that version, and we were having a good time controlling it. It seemed like it was very smooth for that. Also, I think the way we're going to handle this game... Let's catch that eventually. I don't know when we're going to get to this, but when we do, I think what I want to do with this, and Nocturne, feel free to give me suggestions on this of what you're thinking. I think we play through the story mode. We do like Shadow the Hedgehog in the sense we have the chat dictate where we go. And then what we do is, after we go through the game, all 6 worlds and complete it, we'll have all of the levels unlocked in trial mode. We will show all the levels off in trial mode.
Yeah. Let's also make sure we unlock the 2 secret Yoshis.
Yes, the black and white Yoshi. Got it. Okay, which is we want to do our full look, and that is an interesting one. It's also a divisive one, because I have people who hate this game because they're comparing to Yoshi's Island. And look, I get it. I like Yoshi's Island better, but also the other thing about Yoshi's Story is that there are a lot of impressive things this thing is doing with its tech, with in terms of its atmosphere it creates, and it's something that Nintendo immediately made the problem for themselves because they said directly, this is supposed to be the sequel to Yoshi's Island, so naturally people are going to compare it to that. And when I got over that element of like, okay, it's not Yoshi's Island, it plays sort of similarly in some ways, it's something I definitely got into it. I really like the atmosphere. It is something that's very childish, but I think it fits for the kind of game that they're making and the story and the atmosphere they're going for.
And, like, the thing I like about Yoshi's Story is in spite of how childish it can look, it's also a game you can kind of take seriously. Yeah,
in its way. And also, I'll tell you the other thing is that the quality of some of its tech has held up extremely well. Some people have said it's still a very good-looking game. Right, because sometimes people say, like, hey, you know, when you have games of early eras like this of 3D, or elements of 3D, with Yoshi's Story having elements of it with the character models and some aspects of sprites too, sometimes the question of how does that look in a modern context is like, hey, does it look a little rough? But for this one, it's held up terrifically. And I think it's something that it goes to what we've said. We said with Mega Man Legends 2 last night, the idea of what is art direction? What is the idea of your look of game? And also, maybe unlike Mega Man Legends 2 in the case of this one, where the bright colors that it's showing fits for the atmosphere. But also, as you said, it also is kind of blurring the lines a bit because the more serious areas, you take them seriously. You feel like, I feel like I'm in danger here, potentially. Yeah. And also, like, I think it's partly because of stylistic reason. I think it's the stylistic choices made for Yoshi's Story that allow it to hold up so well. Right, and it's also been interesting with the other Yoshi games, specifically even after this, because there was Yoshi's Island 2 on DS, which plays like the original, but also had elements that are kind of weird to itself. There's Yoshi's Woolly World, which is on Wii U and 3DS. I have the Wii U version, which kind of going in the style of Kirby's Epic Yarn, which is the same developers, Goodfield, who made that. And then you had Crafted World, which is on Switch itself. We're actually kind of going back to like this one. I don't know, do you play any of the Yoshi games? I haven't played either of them. Okay. I think you'd like Woolly World, and I think you might like Crafted World, because Crafted World kind of is going back to this one in certain capacities. And then all the other one I can think of is Yoshi's New Island, which is on 3DS, which is pretty interesting. It's fun, but it's also a question of what is it doing with Yoshi's Island's chronology, because basically, without spoiling it, it basically totally retcons the entire ending of how Yoshi's Island originally went. Well, it's like, fine, I'll say this. The end of the game, the idea is that what's going on with Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, the stork fucks up, let's just put it that way. And it was like, wait, how did that Yeah, that seemed like a question mark a little bit. That being said, it's still something that it always is interesting. Look, we love our Yoshi on the show. We've mentioned that. I think Finn has mentioned that was Come to Stuff, and we're going to show that for the puzzle showcase. We're going to show off for Switch on Thanksgiving weekend. I have to figure what we're going to do as far as puzzle stuff. I'm going to be leveraging stuff for the Switch Online services, every single one of these. So I guess for puzzle stuff, we'll do brief looks and stuff. We'll briefly look at Dr. Mario 64 as far as Nintendo 64 is concerned. Pokemon Puzzle League. We're going to eventually do full on Pokemon Puzzle League. I think Edwag and Nicky are calling dibs on that one. And we did Tetris Attack already, which Dolly Finn did with me. He's like, yeah, the big one she loves. And yeah, fine, as far as puzzle stuff, that's mostly it on Nintendo 64, although... And then we can go off to the last thing. Let's go to the Japanese app. Because there's some different stuff here that is not on the US app. But also stuff that's not on this. Like GoldenEye. GoldenEye's not on this. So if that's the case, you got to have that. And you get the nice Japanese box arts, which we talked about in certain areas about what those are like. And also the idea of differences of version. Like with your Mario Party 2, it has rotated analog stick games. Names of stuff. The fact that Paper Mario is called Paper Mario Story for Japan. Right there. Yeah, something... And also the box art for Yoshi's Story, which is actually the same as the instruction manual that we got.
Yeah.
And that's what the box looked like for Japan.
Japanese box art just looks so much better in a lot of ways.
Which is what Electver said, actually, when we first looked at the Switch Online expansion pack, when it first came out, looked at this over. He said, hey, I love the design as far as how the Japanese box art is looking, for sure.
And right next to that, Super Mario 64, like, I love just how simple that is.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways it's also not that dissimilar to the American one, but it is also something to be said about... Also, like, hey, it is simple. There's Mario with the wing cap. There's the Mushroom Kingdom down there. Like, this whole world, this new world, the idea of 3D Mario and 3D gaming, you know?
Yeah. Like, it gets the entire point across with just a couple of simple, images.
Sure. I mean, there's something to be said about that. I mean, some of them are similar but to other ones, but other ones are a bit different, like both of the Zeldas, Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time that way. Kirby Crystal Shards specifically as well. F-Zero X, which is kind of going a little more with the comic book stuff of the characters from that game. We played that. And when Pokemon Stadium comes up, by the way, it is going to be on the Japanese side. It is technically going to be Pokemon Stadium 2 on this service.
Yeah, there was technically a Pokemon Stadium on the Japanese side that came before what we got as Pokemon Stadium 1.
Yes, apparently it did not have all the Pokemon in it, and apparently it was... I never played this thing. We didn't get it here, but I don't know. You ever played it?
I've never...
I haven't either, so I'm surprised. I mean, fine. I'm not surprised they're not putting this there, but fine. Fine. Our Pokemon Stadium 1 is there too, and then their 2 is...
their 2 is our 1, and our 2 is their Pokemon Stadium Gold, Silver, I think.
Yeah, Pokemon Stadium GS. That is the idea. So, good point. So that's how they're going to look there, but also let's talk about the two things that are unique for now, which are the custom Robo games. There is... Actually, I made a mistake when we talked about this at one point. I said these reported to the GameCube. Actually, it was a totally different game that was on the GameCube. The only one... Fine, there's two that the US got. They got Custom Robo Arena, which was on the DS, and then the GameCube one. These are the two that Japan got. They're kind of as a Mega Man Battle Network style to them. A little bit of how they look, but also the idea that... Because it's about these kids who are doing, like, battling with robots and things. It's all the idea that, hey, they're going to be raising the robots a bit to do that. I don't know, did you play Custom Robo on GameCube?
No.
Okay. Because I didn't play it, and in this case, if you have the Japanese app, you can play both of these. They are all in Japanese, though, so we're pointing that out. And then the way the battles play, it's kind of like... I don't know if you played from Sega Virtual On. It's kind of like that. It's kind of an arena robot fighting game a little bit. And there's a couple versions of that. There's one on the Saturn, Cyber Troopers Virtual On. And then there's also... Virtual on Aratario Tangram, which is on the Dreamcast, and it was an arcade version. It ran actually on a dual analog control method. Even on the Sega Saturn, this big dual joystick setup. Actually, to the point where actually when that came on the Dreamcast, people found out how to use that Saturn stick on the Dreamcast. So I was like, okay. And it was totally compatible, so you can play it that way. And they did a mono re-release sort of on 360 and PlayStation 3 of the Aratario Tangram game that does have dual analog control. It's kind of like a precursor to that, or if you played the remake of Kirby's Return to Dreamland that came out a couple months ago on the Switch, there's a game they added in there which is almost like this top-down, arena battle thing. It's kind of like that a little bit. it's kind of interesting in some ways. And as I mentioned, the way to get this is pretty much just have another account on your unit, on your Switch, set it up for Japanese as far as the region, go into the store for Japan, download the apps, and then using the, I guess, American app, in the case of myself or you, that you have the Switch Online account paid for, go in with that, because you can use the app you have, and then basically recognize that, okay, you're paying a year for that. So you can expand it out and get these two games and the other versions. You also see the regional differences, because I mentioned Super Mario 64 is the Shindo Pack version, so there's Rumble Pack support to this. Wave Race 64 has Rumble Pack support, is awesome as far as being able to play it with that. And then also the other game that they are adding that is going to be exclusive to them is going to be Harvest Moon 64, which is coming sometime this year.
And another factor for why I like the Japanese box art, the vertical orientation.
Yeah, and Whitefish said the same thing as well. He was saying that, hey, I kind of like that because, and it's interesting when you think about that when it comes to, I guess, even the way marketing of games went. And you sort of saw this also with the Super Nintendo, where, like, hey, it would also be a vertical orientation compared to the horizontal that we got. But just the idea that sometimes that kind of maybe stands out in an interesting way, a different way than the other way, but it also is, I mean, it makes you unique, and it's kind of a fascinating thing to see, you know? I mean, also, in some cases, whenever these come out, I always show my coworkers, like, hey, the new Switch Online update is here. What are they? Let's look at it in every language. I mean, I think I did every single language version of Pokemon Snap.
Oh nein, es ist eingeschlafen. Ein schlafender Gegner macht den Kampf ganz schön einseitig. So. Es schläft tief und fest. Oh oh, es ist verwirrt. Hey, was ist das denn? Es schlägt sich selbst K.O.
And Crusader 64 was like, now we're seeing in Spanish, and he was like, oh my god, this is hilarious as far as just being able to do this. He was like doing what we did with the Freddy Fish play, saying like it's like Dora the Explorer specifically as far as this with the stuff like, can you find Pikachu? So it's like, yeah, fair enough to that, but just the idea of we mentioned this before, positioning a game in multiple parts of the world, and it could be really fascinating to that. Whether they might change for that, ideas of certain things, whether it's a gameplay, whether it's a stylistic thing, even with the box it comes in. And it's a really fascinating thing. I do like that idea. And being able to go into it on the show. That's why we do this. We love this kind of thing on the show. And I think people enjoy it. My guests enjoy it. And, of course, the best chat on Twitch, Patent Pending, likes it as well. I think that has to be the line for the best chat on Twitch line. But I don't know if I actually be able to actually patent that. But we'll try, maybe. I don't know. But either way, thank you, Nocturne. We do have one other thing that's going to be going to that. In fact, I'm going to also record it as part of this. But you will see it on the YouTube site for an edit of a show we're going to do in a couple weeks. So we're actually going to do a bit of a fake sign-off for the video you're seeing now. But yeah, stay tuned for that in a couple weeks. So yeah, we will see you later. Thank you so much, Nocturne, for that, for everything you got on this one.
Definitely.
And yeah, we'll see you next month for part 2 of Mega Man Legends 2 on May 13th. And take care, everybody.
Bye.